This video we are going to create a VM over the GCP. If we're talking about the production environment over there, first of all we have to delete the default VPC. After that we have to create a custom VPC. Over there we need to create a subnets and then assign the static IPs. After that we are going to create a virtual machine. So step by steps we are going to proceed further, and as of now we created the custom VPC subnet inside that and define the CIDR range over there, and then we create two static IPs. One is internal, another one is external. So now the time is to create a virtual machines over there. For creating the virtual machines, we have to use the resource Google Compute Instance. So let's check about the documentation. Over there, we have to search Google Compute Instance documentation. So here you have to find out the Google Compute Instance. Here it is, Google Compute Instance. As per the documentation, over the Google Compute Instance, we have to define what will be the VM name and what will be the VM type. Is it inside which zone going to create? So these information we have to supply it over the Terraform file. So here you can see that this is the resource and this is the resource name, and we are going to create a VM with df VM instance. After that, we are going to create. Here we define. We are going to create a N1 standard one VM type, and it will create inside the US Central 1A. And boot disk, it's going to use the Debian images. After that, in this block, we are going to define the network information. Previously, we created the VPC. So here we define the VPC parameter. And over the network, first of all, we have to define the project. It's a fixed value. So first of all, you have to define the project, and then slash. After that, you need to define the project ID. Here, for in this practical, we are going to use this project ID. So just copy the project ID and paste it over the network information, project and then project ID. After that, you need to define the global/network and then supply the VPC name. This VPC name come from the VPC section. Over the VPC section, we are going to create a Terraform VPC network. So VPC will be created with this name. So need to copy that particular VPC name from here and supply it over the network information. After that, we have to define inside the VPC which subnet we are going to use it. So here we are not using the shared VPC scenario. Here we are using the dedicated VPC over the project. So that's why we are going to define subnets are coming from the same project in which we are going to create our resources. So just copy paste the project ID over there. After that, we have to define the subnetwork, which subnet ID we are going to use it. So it's a same pattern which we follow with other resources, or the pattern which we follow with the output resources. For defining the subnetwork, we have to use the resource of subnetwork. So let's see, where is it? Subnetwork, here it is. So here we are defining the net resource Google Compute Subnetwork, and this is the resource name. So same we have to use it. We have to do the copy paste over there. Subnet Google Compute Subnetwork dot subnetwork name, and after that we have to supply dot ID. It will automatically fetch the ID of that particular subnet and try to assign the IP address from this particular subnet, which we created above side. Now, after defining the subnetwork, we have a two option. Either the VM will automatically pick the IP address, whatever the free IP address available inside the subnet, or uh, first of all, or we have to assign the static IP to the VM. And the reason behind that is after the reboot, IP will not change. So that's the reason over the production environment. First of all, we are going to define the static IP. Here we define the static IP, internal static IP as well as the external static IP. So we are supplying this information over the network section. Inside the network IP, it's going to pick the internal IP address, whatever assigned at the time of creating the static IP, the same IP will assign to the VM. And in this access config section, we are going to define the external IP. If we're talking about the production environment, 90 to 95% chances are we are not going to assign the external IP direct to the VM. But here we are talking about the practical scenario. If any requirements come in the future for assigning the external IP to the VM, so how to do that? We have to define the external IP inside the access config section. And after that, again, we are going to define the output value over there, and it will print the VM name over the CLI. So let's move towards the command prompt. First of all, let's apply the Terraform init to initialize the Terraform. After that, need to fire the plan to check the Terraform file is okay. So it's going to create all these 5 resources. Now the time to apply the Terraform configuration. So yes, once all the resources created, it's going to print all the values over there, all these values over the CLI. And in the next video, we will see how to create a firewall rule as well. Terraform created all the 5 resources. It's created this VPC, and then the subnet name is this. This is the VM name. These are the static IP address. And Terraform created VM, and this VM having only these 2 internal and external IP address. So let's try to check is it the same or not. We are moving towards the console. Let's refresh the dashboard. Yeah, this is the VM name. So this is the external IP. Let's try to check. It's a same IP address which created over the static IP. So let's check the static IP as well. So here you can see that these are the 2 static IPs. One is internal, another one is external. And the same static IP created with the help of Terraform, and the same static IP assigned to the virtual machine, which created with the help of Terraform. And this is the internal IP ending with 2. And here you can see that this is the internal IP. Thanks, guys.